Hello and welcome to episode 8 of our Timberborn Apocalypse Mode playthrough here in Cycle 6, Day 8 with the Iron Teeth faction. We are currently paused because at the end of last episode we got that notification that a bad tide was approaching in only 3 short days. And we're not going to unpause until we get a handle on what exactly we're going to do to try and solve our problems. So, what we did last episode that probably, like many of you said, sealed our fate eventually is try to get metal so we could make a sluice gate and, well, also, you know, get the food factory for the corn. But by doing that, we distracted ourselves long enough to not get this dam even close to finished. We don't have enough wood to finish it, so barring some sort of just crazy thing happening, we're going to have to just abandon this and salvage what we can from down here because it's going to all be infected with bad water. But we do have 3 entire days, and we have 28 adult beavers. So there's a bunch of you that left a bunch of different comments and a lot of really good ideas. Again, standard disclaimer, I can't do everything everybody asks, so somebody's going to be mad, but that's fine. We're going to go ahead and try to base ourselves around this pool up here, because all we have to do to guarantee that this is usable for at least some amount of time is finish building 4 levees. This one's already done. It just has to be completed. Well, that's how that works. Anyway, it's got 12 out of 12 logs. This one has 2 out of 12. We just need an additional 24 for up here. So, you know, we only need 34 logs to make sure that this area is ready to go. Once the bad tide comes in, this floodgate will be closed, and then all of that nasty water will come through here and will be immediately sent down into the negative water source, and that's going to be fine. But what's going to happen is the bad water is going to be in these areas here. All of this land will be contaminated. A decent bit of this will be contaminated. Pretty much all of this over here will be contaminated. But the land that's already contaminated over here is not going to get any more contaminated because this is already pure bad water until you get to over here. But I think what we're going to end up needing to do is add some other, either a bridge or some sort of platform or something, so we can get path across here and then turn this area into our new farming land, which should, in theory, be usable without too much extra effort. But the very first thing, regardless of any of the strategies that were proposed, the very first thing we really need to focus on is getting this set of levees completed. And we're going to be able to do that very, very easily simply by having another district up here. And of course I can't build this without disconnecting from the path network, but the district center is free to build. The district crossing is only required if you're going to have goods transferred between districts. So I'm pretty sure this is how this is going to work, or going to let me do this. If we build a district center up here, disconnect the paths or whatever, and we send beavers to this district, unless that's locked behind the district crossing, which I've never attempted to try without building one, but we're going to find out together. We send 4 beavers up here to build the levees. And since we already have, well, there's not really anything to gather left over here, but we do have a lumberjack flag. We have trees that are marked for cutting, and we have the ability to reasonably quickly get some more wood up here without them having to traverse the entirety of the map here. So just for right now, because we are in such a dire situation, I am going to put additional lumberjack flags up here and take care of that. So let's go ahead and disconnect that path. Build our district center here. Make sure that's set to 4 workers. Unpause this lumberjack flag. And no, we're not going to have any food, not going to have any water in here, so these guys are going to have to fuel up before we exile them to the top district. And as soon as they get hungry or thirsty, we just send them right on back. Not even going to worry about it. We'll just get everything done that we can get done up here, and hopefully it ends up being successful. But once this is taken care of, we can actually move forward and take care of everything else. It's just, you know, a whole thing that it's really not going to be that that quick or easy of a thing here. But once this is done, I will take this district center back out, and we'll have everything reconnected again, because it's not going to matter. Again, down here, we're not going to have the wood pretty much ever. We're going to have the wood in 3 days to complete this, which is unfortunate, but it's the way that we ended up having to mess with stuff. So we do have a couple of other options. If we are absolutely intent on getting this built, we can demolish buildings that were assembled using logs, and then the builders can pick those up. We also have the option, depending on how we want to do this, to put another district over here. Well, currently it would be flooded, so that wouldn't actually work. But we could put another district in the general area, maybe up here, disconnect stuff here so that we could have 4 builders from this district. Remember, we don't have... well, okay, we do have the science technically to unlock a builder's hut, but if you have another district, then the pathing is shorter, and we have... okay, there's only 8 logs here, so that's not really that good of an idea. But if we had planned a little bit better, we could have divided this up into little micro-districts for building and gotten it done a whole lot quicker. Hindsight's 20/20. That's the way it works. But, unfortunately for the beavers, I have very, very, very terrible vision, to the point where I have to have glasses that would be Coke bottles if they were not high-index lenses. So, that transfers into the game here. We have to get as many of these berries harvested. There's so much to do. Remember, everything has to get done, or nothing will ever get done again. So, enjoy thinking about that one. Everything that is not pumping water or building of dams needs to stop. Period, point blank, or nothing else is going to matter. So, smelter, paused. Fermenting, paused. Power, paused. Now, that should have us, 7 unemployed beavers. Inventor, paused. All inventors, paused. Now we have 10 extra beavers. Is there anything else? Okay, no, we have hauling post. That now has 6 beavers working in it, and there's that bad tide approaching warning. We have 6 beavers that are not working. So, what we can do with those 6 beavers is we can either unpause more pumps, we can unpause more of these farmhouses, or we can send them up here to be in District 2 and work as builders or lumberjacks. So, if we migrate some population over, just send, we'll just say a minimum of 6 adults. Get those guys to come up here. They'll make their way upstairs. Hopefully not having been hungry. Actually, you know what? Let's let them eat first. Let them eat first. Get a drink of water. And then we might be okay. Alright, so is everybody watered and fed? Close enough. Alright. Now we can do our minimum of 6 beavers. Those guys will go up there. It's probably going to take them a whole lot of time during the day to make that a thing. We do have a water pump here. We could send one of them into to water the beavers, but I don't think that's going to be a worthwhile expenditure of our time. Again, main goal. Get this little bit of levees done, and then we change focus to other stuff. Now, remember what I said earlier. If we have wood, which we do, we can demolish buildings that use said wood if we think there is a remote chance of this actually being finished. Which, I gotta tell you, I really don't see it happening. But you gotta hold on to hope, because sometimes that's all you have. Sometimes that is the only thing you have. Remember, we have our material retention setting lowered because, of course, I did, because I made this incredibly hard for no reason. So demolishing stuff pretty much only gives you half of what you originally had. However, if doing that means that we could even slightly save a little bit more of this area down here, then I think it's going to be worth it. Especially stuff that only costs logs and doesn't need planks. That can be rebuilt very, very easily. And as long as we have builders, which we do, technically, and as long as we have haulers, which we do, we're going to be in pretty good shape. And the amount of food we have now is fine for a couple days, and if we can save the farmland, save at least enough of the farmland and enough of the berries, more importantly, then we might actually stand a chance. Get on with it already, I know. So, starting with the campfire, now we have, this should be, I think, 8 logs, which doesn't seem like much, but let me assure you, it is. It is much. So, all these little tanks here that are completely empty and far away from these things, we can go ahead and we can say sayonara to these guys because we are much, much more interested in having this completed. So we'll go ahead and do that. And it's not like it matters anyway, because guess what? We're like less than 40% of this, so just get that ready there. And now this should be on the ground almost enough, just by doing that, almost enough to have this taken care of. But the main challenge of this is because we have to be able to get up on top to build this, because I didn't make it straight, because I thought that would have been a worse design and would have used more resources, but instead I traded that for time, and you know how that goes. So it's too late to change it now. But all we have to do is get enough built so the water starts to go over here. And remember, we have a full day at the beginning of the bad tide before the bad water actually gets here. So we really have 4 complete days. Well, I guess we could call it 3.5, 3 3/4. It's possible. It's definitely possible to get done. So again, before we unpause, let's take stock again of who's working. We got 4 builders. We've got 6 haulers. We've got 2 in this farmhouse. We got 2 in this farmhouse. And we got 2 in this farmhouse. I have 1 on the gatherer flag. I'm going to go ahead and take this farmhouse down to 1 and open up this other gatherer flag, which will completely neutralize. I probably should just, let them go at this point. But I want to make sure I address all of this before we start, because we're not going to have a second chance to take back what we've done. The breeding pods. A bunch of you said, forget about the breeding pods. Well, guess what? You remember a couple episodes ago when I said we had our emergency beaver reserve idea? Well, guess what? This is basically as close as it's going to get to the end. This one's already reset. That one's pretty close, and that one's pretty close. This one and this one, I am going to go ahead and pause just because, well, that one too, just because there's no hope for that. But these three, if we have it paused, and if all of the beavers die, all we have to do is unpause these, and then it's going to be a-okay. We'll have at least a couple beavers, as long as there's some water, which, remember this? Yeah, we have 30 emergency water. That might be enough to get a couple of beavers to adulthood so they can work and rebuild society. We've got fermented cassavas up here. We've got berries up here. So, if I were a smart individual, I would go ahead and I would just completely disconnect all of these things so that nothing else can be gathered or placed in when the time comes. So I'm going to reconnect this now just so we know we're not going to be in complete screwed situation. But that's going to make it possible for us, and I'd do it further down here too, because at that point, if it's that bad, you don't need the hauling post anyway. But if we have enough to keep it even just a couple of beavers alive without working, because they're going to be children, then I think we could possibly have a shot at maybe hanging on. Alright, so 15 minutes into the video, we're going to unpause, and we're going to see what is going to be possible for us to accomplish. Because, boy, do we need something to go incredibly right here. I love it when this kind of nonsense happens. So, away we go. We've got our beavers here. They are slowly making their way up to the top. This district has no food. It has no water. It has no hope, but it has a dream. And that dream is to get this levee finished as fast as possible. So they're trudging up to the misery land. The rest of these beavers are doing whatever they're going to be able to do. And yeah, you better believe we're going to do our best to get this whole thing taken care of, ready to go. It's a little nerve-wracking, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. But I am just so incredibly excited by the idea of actually surviving. And somehow getting away with it once again. But you know what gives me hope is that some of you guys in the comments have said, you know what, instead of talking trash, I'm going to try this for myself and see how hard it is. And you're reporting back that it's actually possible. So, who knows? Maybe even I can figure it out. And we'll get this whole thing all figured out. But I would love to be able to get this going just as fast as possible. We got to get these guys to take their wood down and get those things up here. We're probably going to have to rotate these beavers out as soon as they get hungry and thirsty. But that's just the way it's going to go. How are we? I'm so afraid to get this on turbo speed. You have no idea. How are we doing here? We're really sucking down the water, aren't we? Oh boy. Oh boy. See, the fun part about this is when I fail at this, it's funny. But it's not that funny because as some people get like legitimately angry in the comments. They're like, I can't believe you're so dumb for doing this. Like, look, it's fine. It's gonna be okay. The sun will come up tomorrow, maybe. Maybe not for these beavers. But for you and me, it's gonna be just fine. The other fun thing about the situation in which we find ourselves is we don't have any more planks because I paused all this stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I'm not gonna be able to get up here to do the rest of this without having planks. And I know people are gonna be writing me about that, but look, when I had this planned out, I had the planks to do it. And now I don't. So, you know, that's just that's the way it goes. But you know what's really exciting? Really exciting is that this levee is almost done. And then this one won't be very far behind. So these guys are going to get it done in a single day. Which is really cool. Because you know what else we have to do? Is we have to come over here. And I really don't want to spend 36 logs on getting across this way. But I don't have... Again, I don't have planks. So how do you solve the problem of not having planks? You can abandon this side entirely, and you can take this suspension bridge out, which would give you, well, on my settings, would only give you 2 planks. There's no planks brought in here. There's nothing at all in here. None of this stuff is made with planks with the exception of these platforms down here. So, for emergency purposes, we could demolish these platforms, or I could demolish the stairs, and then we just come down here when we have to come down here. These guys are... Oh, they're still waiting on logs. All right, well, that's fine. That was always allowed. This is going to become a problem. I got this platform here. This actually has 3 planks on it. I'm going to get rid of that. We can get our 3 planks back, and because this is now a thing that's allowed, I can actually put a levee here. That's going to allow us to get up to build the rest of this nonsense. Which is all going to come in time. This, I'm like 99% sure they can build this levee and this levee from this staircase. And if not, they can build it by standing here. This does not have any planks in it. But this platform and this staircase do. So, while we're in, you know... I'm trying to remember the family-friendly way to say this. Experiment and learn results, I guess we'll say. While we're in that stage of taking risks, we might as well just let it be what it's going to be. And guess what? Guess what? This is done. This is done. It is finished. So, away we go. Put this path back in. And now these are no longer going to be required things. These lumberjack flags are going to be paused. So everything up here is paused. These beavers can go back and sleep. And then we will worry about this side when we get there because, let's be honest, I don't think that's... Oh, you know what I forgot? I am an absolute buffoon. Oh, actually, hold on. We can save this one. We can save that one. And this one. All right. So we have 2 emergency beavers instead of 3. All right. That could have gone a whole lot worse. But, oh boy, these are real close. All right. So, what we got accomplished up here, very, 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 very good that we got this done. This is very important. Extremely important that we got that accomplished. So, I'm very happy about that. This will be safe because this is automated when the bad tide starts to go up to 1. This will be safe, and this will be enough water to sustain some quantity of beavers for some length of time, and everything's going to be okay. Crisis partially averted. Now, we come back down to this mess, and we are going to have to take care of this one way or another. There's already 4 planks here. There's no planks here. If we take these 4 planks out, because this is not finished, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get all 4 planks back, which is going to make it possible for me to have this staircase finished. And then I just have to have 4 more planks to do that. And guess what? I've got 2 on the ground here, and I've got 2 on the ground here. So, away we go with that, and in we go with that. So now that also kind of reset the priority, so I don't think that's going to be a problem either. See, that's paused. That's fine. And now I have extra beavers who can either go on the hauling post or, more importantly, go into farms or water pumps. So that, I think, is going to be the smarter thing to do. Plus, I am going to maybe need to do some lumber milling. But I think for right now, we just want to try and get this done, if at all possible. Remember, this is a lot to build in 2 days, but let's not forget, we have technology. Remember our district center kind of thing we were going to try to do here? Well, I think it's going to be in our best interest to just try to do this way anyhow. I just don't know. Actually, you know what? That's not going to work. For that to work, the district center would have to be... Oh, I got nowhere to put it because it's going to be flooded. Well, it was an idea. If I put it up here, then I'd have to take this path away for them to reach everything, and there's nothing stored over here. So it's just kind of going to be in limbo. So away we go. Power through the night. Make sure that I have the rest of these guys doing whatever work we can have them do. Take this back down to single speed. I got 4 extra beavers. We're working there. Put another beaver in here. There's not a ton of crops that really need to be pulled out of the ground. I do have 2 working together. Flag, Savik, kohlrabi. Oh, the berry storage is all the way up here. That's probably not helping. But stuff's looking okay. This floodgate will need to be raised. I will set height when bad tide starts to 1. Same with this, just so we are ultra insured. And I've got this extra farmhouse here that I can unpause. So that's looking decent. Builders are... Oh, no. Don't build that one first. You cannot. You absolutely cannot build that one first. I need you guys to build these first. Come on. I need you to build those first. Somewhere there was someone screaming at me to abandon this and start moving stuff up the stairs. However, I believe in the beavers. Beaver believer. I think... Oh, they're also working on that one. That one's not going to matter yet. So as long as we can get this bit finished, which, you know, they are carrying logs. They're making that happen. We've got all this stuff on the ground, logs and planks, which... Oh, hold on, there's planks over here. Well, you know how we can get that over here. You stupid idiot. Why does it always go the exact opposite direction of the way I want it to go? That's the eternal curse of moving piles. Alright. Those of you asking, why didn't you build a builder's hut? Because it takes time and effort to build, and if you're building the builder's hut, it's got a big enough supply or required supply of materials to construct that the time it would take to build that would actively detract from any gains in building speed because of how long it would take to build it with the limited amount of time we have. Yes, again, hindsight is 20/20, but whatever -7.5 translates to is what my site is currently as I'm looking at my computer. So, well, actually, it's lens corrected, so hopefully it's close to 20/20, but it's been a long time, so it's probably not. We're gonna do this one first here, and then from standing on this guy, I can reach this one and this one. Wait, why does this one not say? That's weird. But I can't reach this one and this one unless I build this, 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 and this, because of how this has been set up. Again, should have just been straight, didn't think about it, and now that is where we find ourselves, unfortunately. I have 2 extra beavers. I probably... No, this doesn't have anything in range. Oh, wait, hold on. They're going all the way up there to get logs? Oh, it's because they were stored in these, weren't they? Okay, well, alright, that's fine, I guess. I had the logs up there. They have to go get them. It's just the way it goes. So they're building that one first. They really should build this first. They really should build this first, which is prioritized. But this isn't prioritized. Why is that? Okay, here they go. Here they go. Building up here. Meanwhile, water continues to climb. Food continues to climb. So that's looking good at the very least. And we do have berry storage, so that's fine. I just wish I could have had more than 4 beavers. Look, we already know this is suboptimal. We're doing our best. We're doing what we can do. I've got these 2 extra beavers. I'm just going to go ahead and put them in the pumps. Nothing else we can do with them. I guess I could have gotten mangroves, but you know what? Let's do that, because the mangroves are going to go away. They're going to go anyway, that's fine. The haulers can do what haulers do best, which is whatever haulers do best. 8 here, 6 here. These were all paused, so that's fine. Ah, yes, and this one is paused, so they would have time to build this. What a tangled web we weave. Alright, so who's got... Oh, now you're exhausted? Well, you should have thought about that before you got tired. Alright, so Jay Jensen over here is going to be the savior of this specific levy. Maybe. Oh, wait, you're carrying... Well, hold on. No, I thought you were... Oh, you're carrying nothing. You're carrying nothing. Starving, dehydrated. Okay, that's loser behavior. We got 2 logs. Come on, come on. Yeah, I know they can do this. I know they have the capability of doing this. It's just the question. Ah, and yes, because it's almost quitting time, you're gonna go do whatever else you want to do. I see. I see how it goes. Why do I continuously have 2 extra... Oh, because they keep getting older. Okay, well... Man, if I had the time to justify doing this, I would do it, but we don't, so that is where we find ourselves. These all have 2 beavers. Okay, good. It's not the end of the world if the bad tide does end up coming through here. It's just not going to be good. It's just definitely not going to be good. All right. So we're about to enter the final day of the pre-bad tide, and then remember, we do still have some time before the bad water actually reaches this, and then if they get infected, it's like super over. But you know, there's only so much you can do about that. All right, this thing always gets super turned around. All right, so finish that, and now because everything else has been paused, should be able to start building this levee here. Now no, that can't get turned on because this one has to get built, and they have to stand on this to build this. But to do that, they have to build this, this, and this. Well, this one's actually just about ready to go. So now, I think what I'm going to need to do... Let's see, that's 2 planks, that's 2 planks, that's 3 planks. And that's 2 planks. Let's get these 2 grabbed first. Because this one only needs 3. This one needs all 4. But they're doing the most. They're trying their best, and that's all we can ask from them at this point. They are doing the most. We are pumping. We've got a decent bit of water. Looking okay. Food continues. We've almost filled our storage of raw cassavas, even though the actual storage is full. The farmhouses are not quite full. So, oh man, but I really, if I start fermenting, then I'm going to have beavers do all of this mess. I mean, the amount of food we've got now is better than it was, which isn't really saying much. Yeah, I'm going to have to. One beaver. One beaver. That needs 50. That'll generate something less than 75 or whatever it ends up being. So that's 5. No, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to pause pumps, which remember, we do actually have stuff up. Why do I suddenly have extra beavers again? I guess it's because they all keep growing up. That's fine. That was always allowed. Alright. Come on. Nobody's done this yet. Well, that's because they were getting the planks. It's alright. Like, I realize how completely hopeless this is, but we have to try. And there's really no other way to get around doing what we're doing. This will be here, and this area will be safe irrigation-wise for quite some time. We're just going to have to move up here when the time comes. If you want to do it a different way, please do, and let me know how it goes. 10 logs. Nobody's finished this one still, somehow. I feel like they probably should, just so we can start building the rest of this nonsense. Okay, well now they're taking care of that. That's okay. That's fine. Alright, so that's finished now. This one just needs the 3 planks, which I guess they're currently carrying. Yeah, somebody's got planks there. Yeah, get that mess all finished. Okay, good. That one's in place. That's a big help. Because as soon as this one gets in place, then I can start building here. And then, unfortunately, they do have to build in sequence for this. And you know it's probably not going to work, but you got to try. Right? Have to try. There's really no way around it. Alright. So, this is steadily getting put in there. That's fine. I got my haulers taking care of all of that mess. We got our emergency beavers. Break glass in case of everybody dies. That's not a very elegant way to put that, but... Okay, planks here. See, the problem now is... I need 4 planks, and I have 4 planks. They're just right here, and these guys are, bless their hearts, running and gunning as fast as they can to get... Well, hopefully they're going as fast as they can. To get this whole mess taken care of. Not much else we can do about that. But we have 1,000 water. We've got 800 actual food. We've got another, what? Math. Another 750 potential food in the form of cassavas. And I've got the corn, which, remember, all we have to do... I clicked the wrong thing 18 times. All we have to do to have a food factory is research it. And make a little bit more metal. And we have to have the gears and... Okay, so it's not as close as you think it is, but it is going to be possible for us to make that work. Eventually. We just have to make sure that... Yeah, 0.3 days left. Oh, is it going to be better to let them go to sleep and come back and work the rest of the... Does this even matter at this point? Probably not. But we'll put them on 20-hour days. They're going to be thirsty. They're going to be hungry. It is what it is. It's fine. The disaster is going to be the disaster, and we are all just witness to it. Yeah, so now it's, now it is what it is. We also don't know how long the Badtide's going to be. If it's only a couple days, then we might be okay, but it's entirely possible it's going to be super long. So let's find out. How screwed are we? Dramatic pause. Come on. Okay. All right. 7 days. 7 days. When I tell you the sigh of relief. All right, there's going to be a little bit of splashing here, but 7 days is not going to be enough to, well, these trees are already dead anyway, but it's not going to be enough to permanently screw us over. We will be okay. But what we absolutely must do at this exact moment is we must completely disconnect this entire building site from all of this. We must pause the levee. I'm no longer worried about the water coming through here because, again, 7 days is about as lucky as we could have possibly gotten. We're going to be completely honest with ourselves here. That is paused. We can't remember that these are we can't remember that these are paused. We can't forget that these are paused. I just have to make sure because we don't want any beavers coming in here. Paused, 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 paused. It's like that scene in Finding Nemo with the seagulls. Mine. Okay, these are all paused. The paths are removed. They should not be able to get up there. So we tried our best. It didn't work. But it is more than halfway done. And by the time this bad tide is over, we will be able to, at some point, come back and continue work on it. All of this, well, most of these crops will die, but that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. We can't forget that this gatherer flag needs to be paused when the time comes. These pumps are already paused. They probably shouldn't be, so I will just go ahead and manually unpause all of these. Yeah, so now I don't have enough beavers to do this. Because I know we need to start going up here, but with only a 7-day bad tide, that is going to give us the chance to make that happen without being super panicked about stuff, which is always nice. So while we have the chance, I'm going to go ahead and build this suspension bridge here, which is going to be super important for us to be able to get across and do farming, which we're going to get started. I need to make sure that there's no possibility of beavers getting contaminated by coming over here. I think we're probably fine. All right, so the water is coming this way. See, this is why I wanted to get dynamite too, because this, if we would have had it a little bit sooner, this would have been okay. So now all we're doing is we are pumping. I guess I can go ahead and pause one farmhouse so we don't have the entire hauling post empty. I guess I have to say that louder, so they'll go back to work over there. But the pumping... Aha, okay. So let's hit pause again. The bad water is here, about halfway through the day. It's already... Oh, yeah. See, all of this, all these beautiful resources, all these berry bushes will be completely destroyed. Completely lost to time. So that's 1.0 there. That's 1.0 there. That is fine. We are pumping, and we are going to continue pumping. Where... Now, where are you going with this? Where are you going with this, bud? Oh, no, they're probably... Yeah, okay. Trying to build... Wow, that was fast to build that suspension bridge that quick. All right, now let's monitor as this bad water comes in. It is going to be spread across a little bit more than I personally prefer, but it is what it is. No way around it. The flow rates remained the same, so we shouldn't have any flooding issues. Again, these are completely taken care of here. These pumps, as long as there's no reason for anyone to be in the river, which I will go ahead just to remove all temptation. Take care of that. I'm very interested to see how the farmland is affected because we do have these pools here. I'm going to say that probably everything on this side of this path is going to be fine. This whole mess here, maybe to this farmhouse, is going to be dead, and then probably all of this is going to be dead. The berries might actually survive. A decent bit of the berries in here might actually survive. Okay. This gather flag is hereby paused because there's no need to get infected that way. These water pumps will work in bad water for a limited amount of time because the efficiency will just decrease until it's all completely bad water. But I think we might be okay. We're going to see as the concentration of bad water continues climbing. We're going to see just how bad things get. But you know what, folks? The 7-day bad tide, I cannot begin to express to you just how much of a gift only 7 days is, when it could have been just so much worse. It could have been so much worse. So now it is the end of the day here. I don't think it's going to be that bad. Alright, run this at high speed overnight. We should see those red tendrils of doom creeping in here slowly as we move into day 2 of the bad tide. And let's see. Productivity is, it's still working. But it's probably about time to start moving these guys out of here. As soon as these tendrils appear, then it's going to be over 50% concentration. You can see the actual irrigation retreating. So this is, well, it's doing what it does. This is still working beautifully. And this, at this point, is 100% contaminated, so there's actually a lot more space for farming than we originally thought. That's very good news. Very good news. Let's take a look at the progress on here. It is still progressing, which is... Okay, well, it's super slow, so I can't justify having all these beavers working these jobs anymore. But it's looking pretty okay. So now comes the part where we start getting these trees undone. So I do think it's going to be worth our while to do all of these. Well, undo all of these, because this is not going to be... Well, I guess I should be more specific in my wording, as one does. The area that is infected with the bad water, obviously we're not going to be growing anything on that. And we want to focus on growing food up here. So you know what? No, it's going to be easier to just unmark all of this. So we don't have to worry about it. And instead focus on cutting all of these trees into this whole area here. Except for what is marked as infected. So I think that's going to be it's going to be a smart idea. Take care of that. They will obviously have the work cut out for them when they get to that point. Alright, so now we're starting to see the effects of the bad water come in as these tendrils grow outward. But I remain optimistic that it's not going to be a complete and utter disaster. I'm not going to have any more beavers birthed right now because I still feel like I should keep those in reserve. But you know what? All things considered, not as bad as it could have been. Now, I need 2 more planks, which does mean at this point that I do have to have this turned on. So we'll go ahead and get some more beavers running around the power wheel, as it were. Take a look at how this continues to get affected. Let's just turbo speed this. These little pools are going to save our lunch, folks. Maybe not quite as much as we'd like, but... Wait, why are these getting contaminated? This water's clean. Oh. It's through the ground, isn't it? Well... That's, I guess, not a surprising discovery, but, you know, it is what it is. Alright, this farmhouse can now be paused because most of his farmland is completely contaminated. I've got this guy by himself. Wait, what are the unconnected buildings? Oh, these things. And then that guy. Alright, well, I did that on purpose. Just trying to think here. Alright. At this point, I am very surprised that any water can come out of this whatsoever, but it is time. It is time to go ahead and focus our efforts on actually getting things accomplished. Let's get 4 beavers in the power wheel. We got the lumber mill. We got our fermenter fermenting. It is time to actually dedicate effort to getting this whole thing taken out. But 5-day Badtide. 5-day Badtide. Huge gift. How many times are you going to say that? Yes. The answer is yes. I think now... See, there's just so much for me to process at once. I'm not actually sure. Not actually sure I'm going to do everything that I need to do. I've got notes. A lot of you left really good comments. And I'm trying to adopt bits and pieces of what you guys are asking. Again, it's not possible to do everything. But I think, long term, once this is actually growing food, then this will be its own district, just completely disconnected. And we're going to try to gradually make this the main district. Once we have access to irrigation barriers, this process gets a whole lot easier. But, like, look at all this space. This only being what is contaminated is very, very, very good news. As soon as these lumberjack flags are up, I think I can get by having maybe a couple beavers here at a time in a separate district as we set up farming and all that fun stuff. But I am very, very happy with how most of this, not all of it, most of it has gone farmland-wise. We are going to save at least some of the berries, which is a huge, huge win. We have a completely full storage on the berries right now, which is fine. And I got 12 extra beavers, so I think what's going to make the most sense, let's go ahead and put in... Wait, I have the pantry mod. I haven't even been using it. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. What a beautiful piece of mod engineering. Yeah, the... Actually, this isn't really a great spot to put this, but who cares? Little medium warehouse here for some fermented cassavas, which we have 524. That'll be a nice construction project. Actually, before that gets built, let's put that there, because this is where that district center goes. I just remembered that. We have the ability to pump, as long as I have somewhere to put some sort of food, which actually the pantry is probably just going to get paused because this is going to make more sense. Yeah, we'll get this filled up with some food. Then I guess I could just have one beaver working at the pump up here. And then this can actually start being its own district, as long as we only have a couple beavers here. All right, so turbo speed that way. We'll have 11 beavers still not working, but there's not really much of anything else they can do. Save, I guess, inventing, since that's a whole thing. We are going to have gears, so... You know what? Why not just go for broke, right? Just get these guys doing whatever they can do. I don't have any more room to put berries, which is fine, I guess. See, now we're actually using all the beavers. As long as nobody gets infected, because once you're infected, it's over. It is over. Oh, you know what? I'm, like, actually dumb. Just have everybody in the hauling post. No reason not to. Alright, so this, I guess, is about to be finished. No? Nobody? Nobody's going to come do this tiny, tiny little last bit of construction? Well, that's alright. It's alright. Could have been a whole lot worse. If this is the furthest reach of a Badtide, assuming this area is irrigated, then honestly, this is totally viable. As long as we have the water to dump into the pools. That's totally doable. See, now we've equalized. All right. Fermented cassavas go in here. Have the haulers take care of that. Water can go in here. Have the haulers take care of that. And now these guys are getting to work. One of the suggestions, I can't remember if I said this or not, was to put the farmhouses on the contaminated land because, well, you're not growing anything on that land anyway, but we have to be able to get there first is the problem. But that doesn't mean we can't just go ahead and have a farmhouse here anyway, which probably is going to be a smart thing to do. I've been told cassavas, a lot of you guys think cassavas are kind of a waste of time. So I think what's going to make more sense is for us to focus on growing just corn up here. Just any land possible with which to plant and grow corn until we have everything else figured out is going to be a smart way to do it. But I am going to leave a path in place so that we can access a decent portion of this. We just need to get some sort of something planted. Okay, that is basically full. The water is going to be what it's going to be. 2.7 days left. I guess I could have them finish this farmhouse, and then we can actually make this its own district completely. So don't forget, we have the rest of this bad tide, and then we have the next good tide, and then however long this water lasts by itself. Okay, so this is now going to be its own district. I'm not going to have a crossing at all. So I guess, yeah, I mean, we have 200 food, which if I take a look at my little math I did earlier, somebody did for me, I guess I should say that. 200 food will last. You know what? I'm terrible with numbers. Forget it. We're just going to find out. It will last some amount of days, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. I'm going to let them work this rest of this a day, and then we will turn this into its own district. If we have to, we'll move guys around. But if we can get the corn growing, and we have a place to store it, and more importantly, we can start processing it, which is going to, of course, require the food factory be researched, which we actually can do. We just need to have a couple more gears. We need to have some more metal and planks and all that. Which actually, you know what? Come to think of it, the plank storage is full. So, well, you know what? This takes 3 hours to make a gear, and this makes plank in an hour and a half. We'll just pause this, unpause the smelter, and get those guys going over there. And I did say this is going to be its own district today, so it will be. Just get that disconnected. District center goes up here. This is not actually District 4, but you know how it goes. So this pump will be here. This district will need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll need 6 beavers, plus somebody to work here in construction as we continue with stuff. So let's say a minimum of 7. Minimum of 7 beavers. There is food. There is technically water, and I do have this one pump, which might be able to support 7 at once. We'll see. We can always take those numbers down. But like I said, corn is the goal here. All this stuff is still growing. The berries were mercifully spared, which is very good news. I guess I should probably have unpaused this medium tank first, but I'm just going to go ahead and say this food factory is priority numero uno, and we're going to move it up here because we have the ability, friends. We have the ability to put in water wheels. So this is going to definitely end up being a fun time for us here. Put a compact water wheel, and then we'll just put a food factory. Oh, I made a mistake. Well, that's fine. We have the ability to build levees. That's going to be totally okay. This will go here and get this whole thing connected somehow. Some nonsense method of aligning stuff here. These trees will be cut, and then everything will be okay. Now, I guess I should probably slow this down. We got 1 day left in the bad tide. This is no longer going to be viable doing that, so I got my 1 worker here. I got my 2 workers here. I got worker. And this district has 1 job deficit, which is in the district center, and that is fine. So, technically, I guess this is now a self-sufficient district, if you want to be specific about it. But this 1 water wheel, while it will not generate enough power to run this thing entirely, will generate some power, and we are going to end up building across here. Once we have the ability to utilize all of our stuff, that's going to be fine. I guess once all this stuff is planted, then I can just reconnect this, because I don't have a district center yet. I don't have the science for it. We just have to be able to get gears up here. So let's go ahead and think about, see, put in even just like a tiny little thing. Tiny little thing for gears right here is probably going to be fine. I need to have a little industrial pile. Just put it here for planks so we can, you know, just kind of load stuff up as it does. I do have some more space with which to grow corn that I will continue planting. It is so good. It is so good that it was only a 7-day bad tide. How many times do I have to say that? All right. Well, you know what I have to do is I have to get a thumbnail for the video. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Yeah, this is a good angle for this. Go ahead and just hit that F12 button there. Maybe get a couple of different shots here. I know you guys love it when I do this during the video. But yes, this will be the bad tide episode. Well, you already clicked on it, so you already know what it was. But just trying to think about what we're going to get done there. Let's see, we got 8 metal blocks. We're getting close to the 10 we need to build this guy, which, well, all of that's going to have to come in due time once these trees are removed, which is going to take a little bit of time. All things considered, folks, could definitely be a whole lot worse. We have enough food, we have enough water, we're starting to get more logs, which once the bad tides come through here, then we're going to be able to finish this dam and actually have some diversion happen, which is going to be fantastic. And since I already have... Actually, no, I don't. Never mind. I thought I had sluices unlocked. But we'll be able to put sluices in. I guess that's a next episode thing. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But, oh boy, did we get lucky today. Wow. Alright, so that's going to have 13... Maximum of 13 metal blocks. That's okay there. How are we looking up here? Still looking decent, I suppose. We're going to need some more water storage eventually. It would be smart to have medium tanks, but for right now, a couple of these small tanks will suffice just to have this all connected. But yeah, you know what? I really honestly can't be mad. Cycle 7. Bring it on. So, before this gets too crazy, I just have to make sure that I didn't accidentally have these things set to open. It's still closed. That one's not the thing I wanted to click on. Still closed. These don't change. This one up here is the one I wasn't sure about. Okay. That's still totally good. Alright. So, now all we have to do is wait for this bad water to get cleansed very slowly, and it's not all going to go away here, just because there's so much behind it. But the water will eventually start flowing clean over the top, and then at that point we'll be able to continue working on the dam. But wow, I honestly can't believe that wasn't as bad as it could have been. Now we did lose the mangroves, which is really unfortunate, but honestly, what are you going to do? Not really going to be anything we can do until we have irrigation barriers here. Or, well, actually, this diversion will completely solve that problem by itself. I can't believe it. I literally can't. I just can't. I just can't believe it. You can't keep getting away with this. Oh, but I can. But I can. All right, so in the interest of, you know, actually getting stuff built, let's remove this path and reconnect this district to the main area. Mostly so we can get the materials required to put this levee, this food factory, and this compact water wheel in place. Because boy howdy. Oh, I feel like I just stole something. I can't believe it. So, you know, that's, I think, probably the best possible place to end this episode, folks. We somehow got away with it, and while the next Badtide we get will almost certainly not be as forgiving as a 7-day one, we can be thankful that we had the opportunity we had to live to see another day. So thanks so much for watching this series. Thanks for all the ideas, the tips, the roasting, etc. Could not do it without you, genuinely speaking. Well, I guess both of those are true. But you are the reason why we can keep doing this stuff, Beard Boosters especially, directly subsidizing the insanity of trying to do this playthrough. And as it happens, this is the last video that I will be posting in 2024 because today is the 31st of December. Unless you're a Beard Booster and you're watching this on the 30th. But I just want to make sure that I say thank you to everybody who's made it possible for us to have the fun we had this year and made YouTube, I guess, my actual full-time primary job. Minus the other stuff that I do still have to do out of, obligation for what else I'm involved with. But you're paying my bills. I can't believe I get to do this for fun and for a job and sustain myself and people I care about with it. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the support. I genuinely mean it. Can't do it without you. I say it every time because it bears repeating every single time. You matter. You are loved. And I'm so glad we get to spend this time together. So whatever it is you're doing with the rest of 2024, make it a good one. And we'll see you tomorrow for the new year and some new beginnings. And the end of the regular Update 6 playthrough. That's all I got. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.